Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Tuesday to you. I'm so glad that everybody's joining us today. I know that some of you will be watching live and some of you will catch us later on demand because you got work and everything going on, or maybe you're in another part of the country and it's a lot earlier. Sorry about that. But we are really excited because I get a chance to spend some time with my friend Hope over here. Good morning, Hope. Good to see you.
Good morning.
Yeah. So I always love to just start out talking about time zones. So I'm in Oklahoma, so we're in Central Time, and you are in where? Let everybody know.
Sarasota, Florida, Eastern time, just an hour
Nice.
difference.
Just an hour different, not too bad. So that's great. That's awesome. Well, um, I am excited about talking to you today because I'm looking forward to learning from you today, and I'm also looking forward to getting a little bit of a peek into the classes that you're going to be teaching at the conference. You're teaching two classes. So you're an overachiever. In fact, we were joking right before we went live that you could just teach all day. And I think I'm kind of wired the same way. So we'll see if Hope ends up teaching three by the time we get there.
Yeah,
I don't.
3. I told Mark, I made the mistake, you guys, of saying, well, not really the mistake. I'm always happy to jump in.
Yeah.
And I've got so many presentations I've done over the years that are still relatable. And
Yeah.
I have them on my computer. So if anybody gets sick, hopefully not, or cancels last minute, I'm there for
Yeah.
you.
That's those of us who are just wired like teachers. It's just, hey, put me to work. It's great. So
Yes.
I'm excited to have this conversation. It's going to be cool. So for those of you guys who don't know Hope, I'm going to have her introduce herself in just a second. But the overriding topics we're going to talk about today are the two classes she's teaching. She's teaching one about Reels and another one about Canva. And we're going to talk about both of those here in just a few minutes. So before we get started, I want to make sure that everybody knows where to find out about Hope. I know most of you that are watching probably already know who she is, but hopefully there's also some new people. So if you want to find out more about Hope and what she does and the kind of things that she provides, she's got a lot of great teaching resources there. She's got a subscription you can join. She's got all kinds of things. So check that out at hopeyoder.com. And you can find where to find her on Facebook and everything there too, right? I'm sure
Correct.
they can find
Yes.
everything there. So that's great. So before we get into the meat of today, I would love for you just to tell us a little bit about yourself. Kind of tell us the big picture of where did Hope get started, at least in this industry, and kind of the kinds of things you do. Tell us a little bit about Hope.
Sure. Well, I'll start 3.5 years ago, or I'll start 4 years ago. 4 years ago, I kind of ended my career as a educator in the embroidery market. I was a spokesperson for a company that produced software and products for machine embroidery. And I traveled about 15 days a month. I was on a plane, different city. And because of a contract change, my husband and I prayed about it and just decided, you know what? We don't want anybody to own our intellectual property or my business name. So we're going to go out on our own again. And driving home from that conversation with a lawyer was, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to go work at a bank. I'm going to go to the hospital at 57 years old. Then it was like, what are we going to do? And my husband looks at me, Mark, and he says, I don't know, but we're not borrowing money. And you have more earning potential than that. You're staying and doing what you do. So we started, we were doing laser engraving as a side hustle. That was not my main job. And because I quit my main job, I gave my 2 weeks notice, if you will. I thought, you know what? I teach people all over the country to embroider and I teach store owners. What if I started having laser retreats and I just brought in a small amount of people here and they could fly to me and I could do the same thing, but in the laser industry. So that's probably where some people have heard about me because I do very small, private, intimate, pay for speed type of events. And then we decided no one knows my name in Sarasota. I'm famous in the crafting world, but here that doesn't even matter because I just need people to know I exist so I can have money coming in because I have rent and I have employees. So I
Yeah.
started hitting it hard networking, and I have from there I've grown my course base from the embroidery industry to the laser industry, and so I have my source of income from several different fields like you do and other people watching do.
That's great. I would love to dig into more of that because I want to know more of your journey. That's really cool. But before, because we're gonna do a lot, she's gonna do a lot of teaching for us here this morning. It's gonna be awesome. But before we jump into that, I just want to ask you just some fun, kind of silly questions to get to know Hope a little better. So, uh, out of all the creative tools that you have, and I know whether it's big techie things or little things, whatever, what's your favorite creative tool that you have right now that you just really enjoy using?
I would have to say, usually okay, because I'm a lot like you, Mark, shiny, woo. Usually my favorite thing is my latest thing. So that's going to be
Yes.
Instagram.
Yeah.
So I'm really hitting it hard to grow my presence on Instagram. There's so many platforms, you have to pick one. And when I say that, I mean getting new people that don't know about me to
Yeah.
convert to sales. So I'm taking a lot of courses and I do everything on the native app of Instagram. And I'm seeing some huge conversions
Cool.
into students in my class and customers for my service. So that's my new thing.
Yeah.
I would say that I put more attention into right now.
That's great. That's great. And you're right. I definitely, it's whatever I'm using most recently is
Yeah.
usually what I like the most. Um, Here's a question for you. It can be going any direction you want. What's one thing about hope that they might be surprised to learn? Like it could be a hobby you have that nobody knows, or your
Hmm.
favorite thing that nobody would imagine about you. Just something that's kind of off the beaten track that somebody might not know about you.
Well, I'm going to talk about a personality trait because most people see me as fun and outgoing, and I can just do anything I put my mind to. I'm going to tell you what I don't like and what I'm really bad at. How about that?
Sure. Oh yeah.
Um, Being in public, if you give me a mission and I have a purpose and a plan, and I can focus on teaching people, I'm much more comfortable in front of 1,000 people than I am one to one. So anybody that sees me at your event, have mercy on me. Come talk to me because I don't look like a wallflower, but I'm really a nerd. I would rather be
Yeah.
behind my computer and not talking to anyone, but I have a passion to help. So people, don't realize that I'm really a closet introvert. So if you
Yeah.
see me in the hall and I don't smile at you, it's because I'm uncomfortable. So please make me comfortable and find me.
I can relate to that more than you know. I I when I'm in public, I'm kind of like you. I'm talking to everybody, but um, I get exhausted, and yeah, sometimes it depends on what hat I'm wearing, right? Like if I'm wearing the public speaker Mark hat, that's what I do. But a lot of times people will be really surprised when I go into a room full of people and I just sit in a corner by myself, like, what's wrong with you? Nothing.
Yeah.
I just,
Yeah. I'm not feeling
yeah.
it, man.
Yeah, yeah, so that's great. Really silly question. Are you an early bird or a night owl? Which do you prefer? Really
Early
early bird?
bird, 100%.
Have you always been that way?
Always.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's great. All right,
If I don't get all my tasks done before noon, I struggle with feeling like a failure. That's how early I.
so if I were to pick up Hope's phone, what are some of the apps that I'd see on the homepage? Like, what are some of the apps you use the most?
Oh, on
I
the
know it's
home.
Instagram. I'll give you that one.
Okay, my homepage, let's see here.
Oh, yep.
BNI, I'm the
BNI,
president of my BNI chapter, Asana, my
of course.
Bible,
Yep.
Facebook, Instagram, and ChatGPT.
Hey,
There you
we got a lot
go.
of the same. We got a lot of the
Little
same
nerdy
ones.
there.
Yeah, that's great. Um, Two more questions real quick, then we'll get into the content here. What's something that you have made or done lately that you're super proud of?
Hmm. Well, like business related or
Nah,
personal?
anything. It doesn't matter. It doesn't
Um,
matter. Anything at all.
well, I will say being a part of the Overachievers Anonymous Club, I need to make those shirts.
Yeah.
Saturday, after being on vacation, my husband and I came into the studio. He was going to help me film some content for my Premier Laser membership. And so after the first video, I'm like, stop, hold the horses. Is that a saying? Hold horse.
Yeah.
Hold.
Yeah.
This is going to be a mini course for $27. It's going to be my lead magnet to get people into my sales funnel. We did it in a day. I built a sales page in a day. I'm paying someone to edit the videos, but it's launched already, or it's going to be launched. So I don't know
That's
how I
great.
did that. And my husband did say at the end of the day, I'm right here, babe. I'm right here. Remember me?
That's so good. That's so good. One more thing. Maybe it feels like a repetitive question, but I want to ask this one. What's something that makes Hope really happy? Like what just makes you happy?
I think my happiest place is when I'm teaching or helping someone else, whether it's a business owner in town and I can share a picture and share their story about the services that they offer. And then they'll tell me, oh my gosh, I got a business from that. Or if
That's
it's
cool.
a student or someone just in my group and I give them a tip that really helps them. I think teaching is what sparks joy more than anything. Even more than making money, even though I need that, right? But
Yeah.
it's that joy of knowing that I am authentic and I'm really here to help.
I knew what you meant to say was Marv was your favorite, what makes you happy. I know what you meant, but that's okay. That goes without saying, right?
Oh, yeah, I forgot that too. He's fixing my laser right now. He is not watching this, and he's not in your group, so we're safe.
Well, you're lucky I don't have his number, but I'm going to fix that in the future. I promise. I will. We guys will connect for a
I
second.
should have said my children, all those
Yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah. Blah blah blah. Right, right. That's so good. So you, I know you're a great teacher. You love doing that. As you think about this particular conference we're doing, what would you hope that people walk away from your sessions with, both practical but emotionally? I mean, I know that they want to learn stuff. I get that part, but what do you want them to walk away with?
I want them to walk away and not think of all the instructors that are there. I could never be like them. I could never do what they do. I hope that they walk away feeling encouraged and knowing that it's just consistency and
Mm,
with some no bull, no fluff, some actionable steps that they can get what they're, really looking for and not be in awe of people that are
yeah.
teaching because we're just no different. We just made a whole lot more mistakes a lot faster than they have. And so I hope that it gives them courage and the encouragement to just do it. And if you screw up, do it again and again
Yeah.
until you don't screw up. And then find someone like me or Alicia, I see her on here,
Yep. I
that
see her too.
have been there and done that can help them. So I really don't like being at conferences where people put people on a pedestal
Yeah.
because usually the people that talk about themselves a lot aren't the people that you really want to look up to because they talk more than they do or help.
And if I could add one to that for myself, I so often we overthink the mistakes we make and
Mhm.
we overvalue them. Sometimes they're actually not that big a deal. They really aren't. And occasionally we actually blow something up so big in our head and absolutely nobody else noticed.
Yeah.
So sometimes we got to not take ourselves so seriously, because a lot of times other people don't. So don't worry about it. So we've got two classes you're doing. The first one I'm going to talk about is called Reels, or Real Talk is the title you gave it.
Mhm.
3 steps to Instagram magic with ChatGPT and Canva. And I love the title. Real Talk is great. Let's start with this question. Why are Reels such an important tool for us? Why are they powerful? Why do I care about Reels?
Well, for me, I'm going to say, first of all, no matter what size audience you have on Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, that really doesn't matter. What matters is you get people to stop scrolling, watch
Mm,
you for a few seconds, and then keep doing that consistently. Because for me, I don't use social media as what I had for breakfast. Honestly, nobody gives a crap about that, right? Oops, I shouldn't say crap, but you know
yeah,
what I mean.
yeah,
So I'm using Reels as a tool to get people to buy from me. So if they're not converting into customers, I'm wasting my time. And
mm,
so I really am on this mission for myself, and I want to share my journey with everybody else, that the audience doesn't matter. A lot of people with big audiences bought them and they're not authentic. And it's just your messaging that needs to change. It doesn't matter if you have 300 people or 5,000. Like, I'm still under 5,000 people, but I convert a sale at least once a day.
that's
And
great.
that's through Instagram. And for me, or it could be any platform, but
Yeah,
it's through
yeah,
Reels. The way that people convert today is different than it was last year. Our attention is changed, and you just really have to keep up with that. And I think it's once you learn how easy it is to make Reels, for me, if you guys look at my Instagram page, I'm the Hope Yoder on Instagram. It is not pretty. It is not polished. I don't have all pink everywhere. It's
yeah.
just messy and it's real, and I make sales from it.
I love it. This might be an obvious question, but I just want to ask it for anybody who's wondering. Uh, when they're taking your class, uh, do they need to be on a particular platform, or will these things that you teach about Reels work on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook? Are they?
That's a great question. I'm going to give, I need to make a t-shirt and wear no bull, no fluff, but that would be misunderstood.
Yeah,
But I'm a very actionable instructor. And so I'm going to first teach them how to make reels, but I'm going to really do it in Instagram. So it is going to be focused more to Instagram, but making the reels, I'm going to give a few other tips so that they can make them and repurpose them on other
yeah.
platforms.
Because I figure once I learn some of the things you're trying to teach me, I can probably translate it pretty easily. I'm guessing.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yay.
And if you, I would say they would want to have an Instagram account because I'm going to teach them the fastest, downest, dirtiest way
Yes.
to make reels is actually inside of Instagram. And then they can download those and then you could download them to your phone and use them anywhere else.
Perfect. Perfect. I love it. That's really great. And I know your title said you're gonna be, or your description said you're gonna be teaching three-step process to
Mhm.
just use a phone and Canva and ChatGPT. And the question that I think some people will have is, how techie do I have to be to learn this? Is this, I mean, if I'm not wired like that, am I gonna get this? Is this gonna be hard? What's this gonna be like?
Well, I'm going to make a change to the class. I'm actually two-step process.
Okay.
Okay. I'm cutting out Canva. All
Okay.
right. We're going to teach Canva in it for a different application, but
Yeah.
really it's ChatGPT and your phone. And no, you don't need to have any knowledge other than how to download the app. And once you've been in the app once or twice, that is it. It is so easy and
Wait, you
surprisingly
just made it
easy.
easier than it was you just took out a step.
I did,
That's great.
and
Yep.
I was doing when I wrote the description for the course,
Yeah.
I was doing that, and I figured out nobody cares if my pictures are perfect for my cover stories,
Yeah.
and that was Canva. They'd
Okay.
rather see this than this. Oh gosh, okay, my hair's sticking up. But anyway,
Oh, it was great.
so
Yeah.
I cut out a step and it's so easy. And I almost feel guilty for you having me fly in to teach
Ah,
this because I feel like it is so easy, but people are so afraid. And I hope that I just take a weight off their shoulders,
yes.
and I'm going to encourage them to start making reels while they're there. They can find me in the hall,
I
and
love it.
if they have a question, then I can help them, and that way I'm not the wallflower thinking, is anybody going to say hello to me?
I thought you were gonna say they can find you in the hall and put you on their reels.
Oh, well, okay, I'm too old for that. I was taught to die to self, but I'm trying to show my face more on camera because that is what people want to see.
Well, wow. Okay. I don't know how you did that, but that was my next question. That was really well done. We did not practice this, but my next question was, what do you say to somebody who says, when they're thinking about reels, because they
Mhm.
know that reels are videos, they know that. And what do you say to somebody who says, I'm not a video person, I don't really want to be on camera? How do you respond to that? Do they need to be on camera? If they do, how can they overcome that? Kind of talk to us about the fear of being on camera.
Okay, I'm going to be blunt as if you were my child or my best friend. Do I have permission to do that?
Yeah, me, yes. I can't speak for the
Okay.
audience, but
Well, I'm gonna
yes,
say, yeah. Um, I see a few comments on here, and I know those people already know me, most of them,
yes,
and I'm gonna say, "Suck it up, buttercup." I don't care if you like being on camera.
yep,
Do you need to make sales? Do you
sure,
need your people to know who you are and the services that you offer? And would you like one of them to convert to buying each day? And if you told me yes, then it doesn't really matter if you like being on camera. I'm
sure,
the perfect example. I am 59 years old and I shy away from people that I always see their face on social media. To me, that says a level of immaturity, but that's not even true anymore. So I've shifted the way I'm thinking. I'm not always on camera, but I do realize that people want to see you because you are the brand. And
mm,
so if you guys, again, I'm not an expert in this. I just know that I'm making a sale every day from Instagram. If you go look at my Instagram account, the Hope Yoder, check it out. I have every now and then myself on there. It's not every week.
yeah,
So I think you just do it afraid. And it could just be 2 seconds of you doing like my crazy hair. I
yeah,
have an Instagram story where I bought a new air blower and it's the dumbest reel and I felt like an idiot doing it, but I want everybody to look at that story, not story, on that reel. And it was three uses for this. One was, to get the white afro higher. Number
yeah.
two was I could blow out the bobbin thread, and number three was I could blow out the dust on my laser. That like has a lot of views and it
That's
was
great.
dumb.
That's great. And I'll rephrase this, but what I hear you saying and what I've experienced is, people just want to connect with you,
Mhm.
and you'll find your own specific voice as you start practicing this some more. But I think when you said to suck it up, buttercup, I know what you meant. I actually do know exactly what you meant,
That's because you're
because,
old too, Mark.
well, yes, that is because I'm old, but I know where you're headed with that, because there are some things that I do every day that people think are really intimidating, but there are also some things that I am resisting that I'm a little intimidated by. I'm starting some new things you and I talked about off camera here, but that I'm a little bit anxious about. But I'm realizing if I take what you just said a minute ago and just apply it to me in that area, if I want something different, I got to do something different. And
Yes.
if you want sales you don't have, then you're going to have to do something different because
Right.
the phrase I think I'll probably butcher it, but the behaviors that I'm doing today are perfectly designed to get the results I'm getting today. And if
Right.
I don't like the results today, then I need to change my behaviors. And so, reels. I will tell you this: with the fear of video, I've got I don't know 600 or 700 videos on my YouTube channel, and when I started on that, I wasn't loving it, but I got better. Uh,
Yeah.
I remember when I first started working at a church years ago, and my first few times of being in front of a camera in a big room. I remember my first sermon I did. I told my pastor afterwards. I said, "That was really bad. Can we make that go away?" And you know what he said? He said, "Nope. You just get to get better."
Yeah.
And I did not appreciate that at the time. Uh, but now I know it's like, oh yeah, he's right. Just get on to the next one. Just get better, as you go, and that's how that works.
That
Um,
reminds me of a story. When I started, so for me, I've been in the embroidery industry forever, a lot longer than the laser industry. And I used to do TV shows. And back in the day when PBS was really popular, fun fact you don't know about me, I used to appear on Sewing with Martha Pullen's Sewing Days. So if you know anything about being on PBS, it's extremely low budget. And there is no time for retake. So I remember right before I went on, I started in vintage sewing. So if you think about the Titanic shirts that the ladies wore, that's where I started my career, making all that lace shaping. And Martha Pullen, the famous person,
yeah,
says, if you fall down, just keep talking or stand up and go ta-da, because they won't cut it.
right.
And they don't. And so I saw a comment on here from Pam that I hate how I
Yeah,
look on lives. I have to overcome this insecurity. Pam, I just beg you, look at my Instagram, and see what I don't do much, really 2 or 3 seconds. You don't have to be speaking. You could just film yourself or have your husband film yourself sipping coffee, and
yeah,
but then relate it to something that you sell. And I won't get into all the meat of that because that's the class. But
yeah.
I'm not in all my videos. And the more you do it, the better you're going to get at it and the less insecure you're going to be. But you'll never get better and you'll never feel comfortable if you don't start.
Let me give you a 60-second story to just reiterate that in a different way. Years ago, again at church that I was going to a long time ago, the story that one of my friends told, he worked there, and there was a guy who was on staff there for a long time that they all just loved, but he was so far ahead of everybody in terms of experience, and they were a little bit in awe of him, not because he did anything, just he was a great guy, great guy, but they were a little bit intimidated by him. And like a lot of churches, it was a big giant rectangle of a church that had long hallways down each side. And so he said that whenever they'd come into a hallway, they'd be walking and they'd see this guy way down there, and they're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm so nervous, I gotta walk by him, I'm so nervous, I'm so nervous, I'm so nervous. And he said one day this guy, they were coming down like this, and my friend Mike was so nervous, and as he got closer, the guy goes, hey, never stopped walking. He said, hey Mike, want to let you know I'm not thinking about you, and then just kept on going. And he almost read Mike's mind. He's like, basically, he was saying, "I'm thinking about my lunch. I got to go to the bathroom. I'm
Right,
anything other than I'm not thinking about you."
right.
And I remember that for decades now. Most of the time, people really aren't thinking about my hair or how I mean, and if they do, it's for a fleeting second, and then they're off to something else. Like they're not. So a lot of times we are hung up by something that either literally nobody notices,
Mhm.
or if they notice, they don't notice for very long. It's just
Or if
yeah.
they notice, they're thinking, oh, thank God I'm not the only one that does that.
Yes, all any of those, right. But the things that we put into our mind, a lot of those are just junk. They're just not true. They're just
Mark,
not true.
put Mark, put Virginia's comment.
Oh, where is it? Oh, I look like a
Virginia,
homeless
I
person
don't
when I'm
know
working.
who you are, but I want to meet you, girlfriend.
Oh, she's great. Yeah,
I look
she's
like a homeless person when I'm working. Well, you might want to change your shirt, and not look quite as homeless. I know that feeling because right now I'm in cutoff shorts, but I do have my engraved polo on, and yeah,
I love Virginia. She's so
you
sweet. Yes,
you can
I
do
love
all
her.
your reels in one day where you make a
Yeah.
little more effort. I love that, Virginia.
Yep.
I don't know why that struck me so
That
funny.
is so great. But you know what though? Virginia, I know what you're talking about. So what I do real quick, and I know this is not the topic, but it is the topic. We're talking about this is here at my office. You can do this at home. You can do this wherever. I will, when I'm smart, by the way, I'm not always smart. I'll just hang like whether it be a t-shirt or some kind of other shirt that I feel better in the bathroom or somewhere here. So that if I'm going to go on camera, I just throw it on real quick. It takes me 2 seconds to change my shirt and then I look fine and then I feel better because I will tell you two parts. We overthink it, but if changing the shirt makes us feel better, then let's do that because
Right.
it'll get our brain in a better place, right? And we'll be better. So grab your favorite shirt or whatever, hang it somewhere off camera or in the corner of the room and just grab it and put it on. You'll feel better. So that's
Well, I'm
great.
even thinking of a pun on that, Virginia, if somehow you could use that to your advantage, right?
Yeah.
Not everybody has makeup on every day. And, I actually fixed my hair today, so it's not so wild and frizzy. But on my Instagram, I never look like this. And maybe, you thinking about you have a home,
Yeah.
we
That's great.
have the welcome home cutting board, or,
Yeah.
something like that. But
And,
anyway,
and,
uh,
and I think people will relate to you honestly because you're normal. You're like the rest of us. Like, right, Virginia, I'm talking about, you say you feel like you look like a homeless person. Honestly, you probably look like the rest of us do. So
yeah. And
yeah,
Virginia just said, "You guys are easy, but Hope looks so pretty, like she combed her hair and everything." I did, but here, does
it's,
that make you feel better?
it's
That's
but
actually what I do to my hair. That is my styling tip every morning, except when I'm on camera or
yeah,
filming.
yeah,
I wake up and I go, whatever, and that's it.
that's
So
great.
anyway, let's get back on topic.
I
But
love it.
I
So,
hope he made you
this is
feel
so good.
better,
Just
Virginia.
connecting to people. It's so good. So let me ask you this question. Um, is there, I don't know if you can pick one and it's okay if you can't. Is there one or maybe two mistakes you see people consistently making when they're making reels that they could fix easily? And I'll give you just a second to think about that. I don't even want to make anything up, but if you just see something, you go, man, that's an easy fix, or that's an easy fix. Can you think of anything like that?
Yeah, actually, there was one thing I wanted to say, and I kind of said it already. So I'm looking at a note on my phone that I
Yeah.
typed up really early this morning. I think that the biggest mistake that I know that I made was, we kind of already talked about it, is number one, trying to just post every single day. Well, when I say every day, I only post usually Monday through Friday. I take the weekend off. That resets the algorithm. So Monday, they pay more attention. But I would post just because, feeling like I have to post because someone said I should. And the
Oh,
posting is stuff that doesn't relate to my business. So that means it won't convert to a sale. For me, I'm doing two things. I'm trying to get students in my courses, whether they're embroidery or laser, or I'm trying to get consumers here to buy my product, my physical products. So if I'm just posting, I'm at a coffee shop, um, drinking coffee, no one really cares about that. But let's say I am teaching people how to be more efficient with their time. My post could have a message, whether I have two people or 1,000 or 10,000 people. I could say something like, hey, being a CEO and working your own hours means I have time to have coffee with my family. Want to learn how I do this? Take my course on laser engraving so you don't spend hours doing it wrong.
mm,
So my coffee post is a cute picture of me drinking coffee, but
yes,
it's about me hitting a pain point. If you're watching, you guys know that I teach laser courses and I'm no bull, no fluff. Just give me I don't need to know how the laser works. I just want to know how to work it. And
yes,
so if I told you I could save you time and I could help you by learning to use your laser, and that would give you more time to do things like going to the coffee shop with your family. Wow, now my messaging is going to help convert you to buy my course or
Yeah.
buy my product. So I think the biggest thing for me, again, is my messaging was all wrong. It really
Mm,
doesn't even matter what your video or your picture is, it's the messaging.
mm,
And before, I didn't even have a message. I just thought, I want people to follow me, but why? If
mm,
you have a lot of followers and they're not converting to buyers, you're working in vain.
mm.
And none of us have time for that.
That's really
Wow,
good.
that was a lot. I feel like I'm preaching. I'm so sorry.
No,
You guys haven't met me yet. I'm a little
okay.
intense and I'm very passionate, even though I'm going to be that quiet one against the wall. But I hope that this makes you want to come to my class now and
Well,
not run from
and
it.
I think we definitely hear the message there. I just had another question that just jumped to my mind, so I thought I'd ask you. It's about Reels. It's also just about social media in general for you, but specifically about Reels. Do you recommend that we do, like you said, the coffee one, for example? Do you recommend that we do one a day? Or do you sometimes like shoot several that you can post later? That's a very clumsy question. Let me rephrase that.
No, I get
Um,
it.
yeah, because for me, I do morning motivation videos,
Mhm.
and the one that came out this morning, I actually shot several days ago. But
Yeah,
I did 3 or 4 in a row, uh, because the mood was there
right.
and the
So
time was there.
repurposing content is the way to go because you're it takes about 12 times or more. I don't remember what the statistics are, y'all, so I'm making it up, but about 12 times or more for people to actually even see what you're doing if it's the same thing. So
Yeah,
for me, when I'm launching a course, I feel like all I do is talk about the course, and then I get people all the time, oh, you teach? And I'm like, because in
yeah,
my head I feel like I'm just driving the nail in, but I'm
yeah,
not, because they've never even seen it before. So I have number one recommendation: next time you get your new phone, make sure you have a lot of storage.
yeah, yeah,
Everything, every day I film content, and when I say content, it's so easy, you guys. I keep my reels under 10 seconds mostly. So if I am, using my pie burn rotary, I'm going to just get in and out, and
yeah.
that's it. So it's not me staging a whole thing and really thinking about it. I'm just filming motion, and then I don't know what I'm going to do with it later.
That
So,
that's what I was
right.
thinking. Like when you
And think
said that.
about 4-second increments.
Mm,
So if you're walking, you're a guy, hopefully you don't have videos like that because that would just be awkward. But back to the coffee cup and you're walking down and you're
yeah,
looking at butterflies or something like that. It could be that simple. And then you could film again. Now, you stop to pick up trash, or it could
yes.
be just everyday things. People just don't want to see polished anymore. They used to, but now they just want a message, and they
Like
just
authentic, real. Yeah.
right. And so it's so much easier today than it was last year to make content if you understand what people are looking for and how sales strategy have changed.
And if I could add to that, I'm just thinking of the coffee one again because it's a really clear example to me that when you
Mhm.
use that one, if you guys are starting to try to get into this vein and try to get into this thought process, you could just say to yourself, you say, hey, I'm going to grab a couple seconds of me drinking coffee. I don't have a plan for it yet, but I'm just going to grab it now while I have the coffee in my hand, which, by the way, some of you always have a coffee in your hand. So it's the
Right.
time's always right. But,
Yeah.
but the point is, yeah, but the point is, grab some footage and don't worry about whether you have a plan for it yet. Throw it in a folder in your phone. And then
Mhm.
that way, because I know for me, what I've gotten the bad habit of doing is when the opportunity is there, I don't use it. And then when I need a video, I've got to go make it. If you follow what I
And
mean,
then then you don't.
right, right.
Mhm.
And so I'll give you a quick example from my own life. Some of you guys who are following me, you know that I'm doing the morning motivation stuff now. I chose a couple weeks ago, I was doing it once a week. I decided I'm gonna do it once a day. And I thought, ooh, that's a lot. But there's some personal reasons I'm doing it. I'm trying to train my brain to be thinking about things. So that's part of the reason I'm doing it. But on the way from my home to my office, every day I drive by this little park that has a reservoir that people walk around. And again, there's a couple of you guys out there who have watched my videos. I'm walking around this reservoir every day. Now what I do is on the way to work, I just pull into that parking lot and get out and start walking, even if I don't, and I walk for 15 minutes at most. And it's good for me. I like
Mhm.
being outside. The walking gets my brain going, and I just turn the camera on and start talking to you. Some of those you never see because it wasn't great, but sometimes it is. And so I'm just working that into my routine. Not a lot of time, but I'm doing that so that my brain starts going. So however that translates for everybody else, do your thing on that one.
Right,
Um,
and then but I heard you say something,
yeah,
and you said sometimes it's not great. You could just film yourself driving up in the car. On my story today, so I
yeah,
have on the Hope Yoder.
yep,
My story I did this morning was a recap of yesterday, a busy
yeah.
SEO,
I
and
love that. That's
everybody
great.
can relate to it. And if you look at this, that happened to
Yep.
be embroidery. I try to fluctuate between embroidery and laser engraving. And I was just steaming a shirt, and it had
Yeah.
nothing to do with what I posted. I posted morning recap, but busy SEO because I
Yes.
want morning vibes, 6 a.m. The word coffee, vitamins, Joyce Meyer while getting ready, office life, one laser down, protein bar breakfast. And but then I have to tie it so nobody cares about that unless I say prepped for light burn presentation, designed, finished a lasering fabric course. Then
Yeah.
they're like, oh, what? She has a lasering fabric course. Tell
Yeah.
me more about that. But that was one line out of everything else. So there's a real strategy to the messaging, but the video and the photo doesn't really matter as much as you think it does.
And
And
I've
yes,
got,
Pam, you can show your wrinkles.
in
You've
fact,
done
I'm going
that.
to bring that because Pam, I love Pam. I love talking to her. I want to tell you, I want to speak directly to you for a second because I think all of us could have typed this with our own things in there, because we all have our things. I'm going to tell you, just like my story I said earlier about Mike, when the guy walked by and said, Mike, I'm not thinking about you. I'm telling you, Pam, you are not my friend who's 72 who has wrinkles. That's not who you are to me. You're just a person I enjoy. That's it. And so I think that that's how you may see yourself, but that's not how the vast majority of people see you. So I think that we are overthinking ourselves. And I think that you just lean into who you are. And I think you're going to naturally identify with a lot of people. I just think we need to all, and by the way, I can preach that to you. I got to preach it to myself. I
I'll do that
totally get
for
it.
you, Mark.
But you
I'll
know what I
preach.
mean? We all
Yeah.
have those hangups, and I understand that. I get it. I'll give you a great example. And maybe you guys will laugh at this, but I'm going to be honest and transparent and vulnerable here. I don't like the sound of my voice, and I have some little speech impediments that I work around, but I struggle with, and they get in my head. And I've struggled with that for a long time. But almost nobody, maybe nobody even knows I do, and they don't notice that I struggle with it. If I can let that get in the way of me, that'd be my version of a 72-year-old woman with wrinkles. But
Mm.
instead, I just need to get out there and keep talking. And oddly, I think it's hilarious that God has me doing something with a lot of speaking when I struggle to speak sometimes. So I think that's hilarious. But hopefully that connects with somebody. Oh, good. I want you to see this. This is good. Pam, we love you. We are glad you're here.
Aw,
And
thank
that's what we're all
you.
here for,
Pam,
ultimately.
make sure you introduce yourself to me. Remember, I'm going to be that wallflower and not as crazy as I seem on camera. I'd love to connect with you
We
guys.
all should walk up to Hope and do this, not with her hair, with our own. I mean, not with hers.
Hey, no, you could do it to my hair because the bigger the hair, the closer to God. And I need all the help I can get every day. And Blake, I see Blake on here. Blake, we may have met before, but you always are so nice on my posts and
I
encourage
freaking love
me.
Blake,
And
man.
so, make sure we have a conversation too. But
What
yeah,
a good guy.
real and authentic. And the message I want to get, come to my class. I am going to be using Instagram,
Yeah,
and I'm going to make it so stinking simple. And I hope that I really want you guys to do your homework. First of all, help me grow my social media. I'll follow you back. Follow me on Instagram, the Hope Yoder. Help me grow and see my content. And if nothing else, if you see what I post, copy what I post, but make it
sure.
yourself. You can
Yeah,
take the same verbiage. And it's funny because one of my staff members who I love dearly, Kelly here, she is a esthetician on the side, and she's branching out this fall into her own thing. She'll work here part-time and there. And she's like, I love what you're doing. I'm like, then just copy it and I'll tell you
Yeah.
why I'm doing it.
Yep.
So you have permission to do that. That way you can kind of see what I'm doing. And if you don't like it, it's okay. There's other courses during that time. But I'm coming from a place of I've never bought followers and I've never, ever paid for advertising. It's all organic.
Wh-
But I have another class with Canva. So
Which we're going to talk about that right now. But I'll say this on any of these classes, guys, any of these, especially Hopes on Reels, I will tell you, just like with any conference, anything you go to, not just this one, if you get one idea, that might be the one idea you needed.
yeah.
So just be ready, be open to grab an idea. And it may be one of the main points that Hope teaches, or it may be an aside that she did that means the world to you. So just be ready to take it all in and run with whatever you get. So that's really great. Because of time, we're going to move on to Canva, but I would love to keep talking about this. You're teaching another class called, your title is Canva, and I love the subtitle. It's the pro level tool hiding in plain sight. I love that. So let's talk about that, because Canva is like the secret weapon that a lot of us might have at our disposal, but maybe we're not using it the way we could or the way we should. So let me start with this question, because I know this is just get this one out of the way. It's not interesting, but it's important. Do I need to use a paid version of Canva to get good things out of it? Is that what I need to do, or what do you recommend?
Like most of us, I'm going to say yes. To get the most out of it, you definitely want to pay for it. I also have two graphic designers that I do work with that don't work in my office. And you guys, I pay them more than the whole year subscription just to do one thing for me.
Hmm.
So if I can help train you and teach you, and then you can continue that with other videos, it's definitely worth it. But you don't need it. Just try it before you buy it. But several of the things I'm going to show are going to be that fee. And I don't even know how much it costs. But if you wanted to remove a background from an image, like you're at that coffee shop we talked
Yeah.
about, and you've got your matcha or whatever that's all pretty pink
Yes.
and green, and you're sipping on it. If you're a woman, you want to take that out of the background and repurpose it and put it into something else. You can only do that with a paid. But whether you pay for it or not, you're going to get value out of it. But it took me about 6 months to realize all those little crowns for the pro version. I needed them. I deserved them. And
Yeah.
just one project that I didn't have to farm off paid for double that year.
Isn't that true? I mean, technically, if you wanted to cobble together all those things with different apps that are all free, I
Yeah.
guess you can do that. And I mean, you can, but once you realize that you don't have to do that and you can go to one place and do almost everything, it's just so much of a time saver. Um, I'm gonna give you a softball here. It's almost an obvious answer, but I just want you to kind of talk about it for a minute, because you talked about you're going to cover things like flyers and social media graphics and charts and QR codes, and that's a bunch of things you're going to cover and touch on. Um, why do you think that matters for whether we be side hustlers or whether it be solo entrepreneurs? Why is this important to us? It seems obvious, but talk to us about that for just a minute.
Well, I think it's important because I think to build your brand,
Yeah.
you need to have consistency, whether it's simple things like brand colors or fonts. And none of us probably have the budget to pay a graphic designer to do that. And if
Yeah.
I could teach you a few things that will up your brand and make it consistent with one program, that's going to really help you. QR codes, I use them on so many things. And there's several ways to create them, but flyers, I print my own flyers. So I'm going to do the basics and then you can play around with it and then you can go further. But I think that Canva is for everyday people like you and me that aren't great at Adobe Illustrator. They
Yes.
have done for you templates and you just need to know where to click. And I'm going to help you with that.
Okay. We could stop right. That's such a great closing line
I'm the
there.
closer.
And yeah, and I'm going to help you with that, because when I think about, like, for me as a designer, when I think about Canva, I think, whoa, I'll make up a number here. They've got something that's like 70% done for me, 80, whatever the number is. It lets me get done faster, right?
Mhm.
And for a lot of us, whether it's skill set or whether it's time or whether it's both, that can help, right? By getting you done faster, getting
Mhm.
your reel done faster, getting your post done faster, your flyer done faster. And I think that's awesome. You mentioned in your little class description that you'll be teaching us the 3 most common Canva mistakes. And I don't want you to give away all right now, but is can you give us a teaser of one of those mistakes? Just you don't have to even go
Uh,
deep on it, but just what's one common mistake that we tend to make on Canva? Doesn't have to
gosh,
even be one of your 3 necessarily.
um, yes, I say there's 2 that are on top of mind, but I would
Yeah.
say the first one is fonts. For the love of God, do not use more than 2 fonts, period. I could stop there.
Yes. And the congregation said, "Amen." Please
Yeah.
don't do that. Yes.
And so, I have a presentation. I already have part of that presentation done. I'm ahead of schedule, but that, and then a lot of people try to cram way too much into it, and it just looks like a hot mess. And
Yeah.
so, I'm going to help with that as well.
That's really great. One of the things that I tend to teach, I haven't taught classes the same way you have, but when I talk about general design, and there are exceptions to everything, I get it. But I tell people if you're going to make an ad, treat it like a billboard that they're going to read going 60 or
Mhm.
sorry, 80, my fault, 80. Uh, so that because people don't want to read a bunch of small print on like a social media thing. Make it big, make your message easy to catch quickly. And
Mhm.
be careful with don't mix a whole bunch of fonts together, but also don't make it so small and so just a wall of text. Be careful with that.
Mhm.
That's something I would say for sure. That's great. What's here's another one for you. I'll let you think about this one for a minute because I know there's probably a lot of these. What's one lesser known Canva feature that either you think is really cool or that more people should be using if they knew it existed? Because there's a bunch of I won't call them hidden. They're not hidden, but maybe not the most obvious ones that you think are awesome. What's one of those?
I'm going to give 2. First of
Okay.
all, the Canva talk is a lot about ChatGPT as well. So I'm going to be in there and I'm going to show prompts and how I use the 2 together every time I use it. There's
Okay.
also AI built into Canva, but I tend to go to ChatGPT. So we'll talk about that. So I'll demystify all of that. But I think one of the things that a lot of people don't know, let's say you're going to print a trifold brochure, and
Yeah.
there's templates for that. You can actually, I never print from Canva. I never pay Canva. I have a local printer that I want to support, and she's less than Canva. And so you can download a PDF with crop marks with or without bleed. A lot of people don't know that. So it
Right.
is print ready.
Nice. That's great. That's really
That's
good.
the one that stumped me when I was thinking about, remember I said couldn't remember, Mark.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's great. That you're doing great with the memory. That's awesome. I love it. Um, mm, do you this is just one off the top of my head. Um, I know you mentioned mixing fonts, and that is kind of that using way too many fonts. Is there any other things that you see people doing with Canva that you go, "Hey, that's not a good idea"? Because you're gonna give them a lot of
Mhm.
great tips of things to do. Is there any
Yes.
other thing that jumps to your mind to just say, "Hey, avoid that"? Is there anything like that?
Um, this One is you need a lot of white space, but we'll talk about that. But this morning, as I'm at home drinking my coffee, my husband's sitting in the same room on Facebook, and he said, "Hey, did you see one of our friend from church? She's a book publisher, and she's self-published." And he showed me this, and he goes, "I wish you could teach her how to do X, Y, Z."
Oh,
And now I'm sitting across from the room, and the first thing that I see is on her Facebook post, half of her post is a giant freaking QR code. And
oh,
my first thought is people look at social media mostly on their cell phone and they can't scan a QR code on their cell phone because they need their cell phone to scan the QR code. Does that make sense? So
yeah,
QR codes are great for printed material, but nobody can scan what they're looking at with their phone when they need their phone to scan it. So
mm,
my first thought was, wow, they should have thought that through. Maybe
mm,
made a different image for Facebook because very few of us are sitting here on our computer and then we can scan it.
right. That's great. So if you, You've done such a good job doing this already through this entire live, but I'll just give you one more chance to do this. If you wanted to speak directly to somebody who was thinking about taking your class on Canva, who's maybe a little bit intimidated because they just don't know how Canva works. First of all, outside of the class, what kind of encouragement would you give to them? What would you say to them? How would you cheer them on? And what kind of thoughts would you like to leave them with today regarding Canva?
I think people are scared of Canva because they don't understand it.
Yeah.
And I think if you are there, but you keep hearing about it, please take my class. It's going to be, I don't want to say this rudely, but I'm going to teach it on a 5th grade level. So that first I'm going
Yeah.
to tell you what it is and why you need it, why you didn't know you needed it. Because it's just so beyond easy, and it is the number one platform that people use. And all you have to do is switch out the pictures
Yeah.
and the text. You can, and they've done it for you. And so when you pick a template that you just have to click a couple places, it's going to look good because someone has already done all that legwork for you.
I love
Um,
it.
and when I look at Canva and I look at templates, I look at it differently. I don't like that color or I don't like that font. I look at more of the layout and
Yes.
I try to see beyond it and think, okay, if I put my picture and I put my message here, it's going to look good because layout, like one picture's here, one's here, and the big text is here and the little text is there and my website is here. They've done all of that. So if at first glance, if I close my eyes and open them and say, I like that, I use that.
Yeah, that's so good. That's so good. I'll answer this question. I'd love to hear your feedback if you feel differently. But Beverly's asking, does Adobe do everything that Canva does? So I'll address that because I use. I think when you say Adobe, you're talking about the whole suite, but because there's Photoshop and Illustrator and all this kind of stuff.
Right.
I use Photoshop and Illustrator every day. Um, Let me answer it this way because it's not just a yes or no question. That's not really how that works. Um, with Illustrator and Photoshop, you can technically do everything Canva does and technically more, but the learning curve is way longer. You start in Photoshop or Illustrator with a blank page. It doesn't have
Right.
pre-built templates. It doesn't have it doesn't have font suggestions. It doesn't have any of
Mhm.
these things. So I would say that's kind of like apples and oranges in a sense because Canva has all these things that are pre-made that you can just drop in so much faster. Where Illustrator or Photoshop, you really do literally start with an empty page, and you have to understand how to build all of it. So that's my answer. I think that out of everybody out there, if I said 9 out of 10, maybe 10 out of 10 could use Canva at some level. Like I design every day in Photoshop and Illustrator, and Canva can still get me done faster.
Yeah.
So would you add anything to that?
I would add that, and this may be true, I do have the whole suite and I use it, but I'm not real proficient in it. And I know one of my really good friends in BNI, she has helped redo my website and give it a fresh new page. And her pet peeve as a graphic designer is people who use Canva. And so I think the only people, because she went to school for this and it's like a pride thing, and the rest of us who don't have an education in that, we just need to save money and put that hat on and get it done so we can move on to running the laser or the embroidery machine. And I promise you, if you come to my class, you will not be intimidated, and I'll give you the start that you need to use it. And the more you use it, the easier it's going to be.
Well, and I'm going to put words in the other person's mouth you referred to. I don't know if that's what they mean, but what they should mean is they don't like people who use Canva poorly. Like the people who
Yes,
use 17 fonts in the same file, in the same thing. Because honestly, when Canva's used well,
right,
it looks great. And
right.
and by the way, I'm a designer. And when I see Canva used well, I go, "Whoo, that was a time saver. That was
Mhm.
great." I got zero. I don't like when somebody uses Photoshop poorly. In other words, I don't care what tool you use
Right. It's the
at
outcome.
all. I don't
Right.
care. Not at all. In fact, sometimes I'm really kind of impressed when somebody makes something that looks amazing, and I go, "What'd you do?" And they said, anything." They name a tool that I've not used before, and I go, That's awesome. High five. Well done.
Right.
I just want you to, and if it gets it done, it looks great, and you're back to embroidering or sipping coffee or spending time with your peeps. That's great. I said
Right.
peeps. Wow.
Yeah.
Um, but it doesn't matter if it gets the job done. Then
Right.
I think it's great, and Canva can help you get the job done.
Right. And I do want to say that in this class, I really feel like half of it is going to be ChatGPT. And I know someone else is teaching. Hopefully, I'll be able to go in their class. But it's really the superpower when and I will say that ChatGPT is half of my Instagram Real Talk and
Yeah.
half of my Canva. And if ChatGPT scares you, it's just because maybe you're not sure how to use it. And it is the
Yes.
future. And it is, I think the statistic was it is in the top 6 search engines now.
I think it's even higher
Interesting.
now. It's
And if you
crazy.
don't, yeah, if you don't know what I mean by search engine, it's not, I don't use ChatGPT to create content for me. I tell ChatGPT what I'm looking for, the point of view that I'm looking for, what my reel is about, and I tell it how many characters I want, and boom. And then I just argue with it like I would do to you, Mark, or my
Yeah.
husband. That is not what I meant. I don't
Yeah.
like that. That's dumb. And you just keep refining it, and then I'll tell you my method on how I combine that with Canva and with Reels. So it's so simple. Once you get over the mindset of I can't do it, or I don't
Yes.
know how, or it scares me, um, the world is different this year than it was last year. And I don't want any of you to be left behind. If you
Yeah.
want to grow your business, you have to do things different.
Yep.
And I'm going to break it down for you step by step.
And you're going to be surprised how easy Hope is going to make it. It is not. She's a great teacher. It's not as bad as you think, and you're going to leave in a better place than when you came. I tell you what, I'll guarantee that. That absolutely going to happen. So
There are no refunds for the conference, so I'll guarantee it too.
but I will tell you that won't even be on your radar. It won't, because I will tell you this. So many wonderful, gifted teachers, so many people who genuinely care about your success. They
Yeah,
really do. And Hope is great at all this, but she actually does care about you winning. And yeah, that's what I mean. And I can absolutely promise you, you're going to walk out. I will tell you this: if you come with the intention to get great things, you will get great things. That is absolutely how that works. So it's going to be fantastic. Of course, as usual, that time went really fast for me.
good.
But hopeyoder.com, check that out. You can find all of her socials on there. You can find all the things that she sells, all the teaching that she has. You can learn more about her. You probably can even see pictures of her with her hair messy. Who knows? I'm not sure. Uh, but what a pleasure, my friend. I appreciate it very much. So, I try to keep these at no more than an hour, and we got 3 minutes. So I just want to ask you something that's not even really the topic, sort of, but because we have 3 minutes. So you mentioned ChatGPT. So I'll tell you real quick how I use it the other day that I was so surprised by it, and maybe you have one also that's outside of our norm. So we have a travel trailer that we got from my mom, and there's a bunch of little things we got to fix on it. And the shower was leaking, spraying everywhere, and I am still fixing a piece in it, and I didn't know how to do it. I sat in the shower on ChatGPT and took a picture of it and said, "This is leaking." I actually sent it a picture of it leaking. I said, "This is leaking. What do I do?" And it came back and it said, "Oh, it's probably this part." And it said, "Would you take this piece out and show me a picture, and I'll tell you if that's the thing."
Wow.
And so I took the piece out. I said, "Here's the picture." They said, and it said, "Turn it for me." And I turned it, took another picture, and they said, "This is the piece. This is why it's not working, and here's where you get it."
Wow. That's freaky
But
and kind of
awesome.
cool.
So cool. Because, otherwise I would have been Google searching an unknown thing because I don't know what it's called.
Right. Right.
And it told me this is what it's called. This is where you get it. And this is how you replace it. And I love it. It says, "Let me know when you get it, and I'll talk you through how to put it in."
I love it. Wrapping up
Yeah.
Real Talk, which by the
Yep.
way, I came up with that title because I was thinking of Pillow Talk. If you watch old movies, you know where that came from.
Yes.
So Real Talk and Canva, and again, we're tying Chat GPT into all of them. The message I want to leave with you guys all is in my classes, And whether it's here at the conference or if you're taking my online courses, I want you to think of this. If you confuse, you're going to lose customers. If your message isn't clear and concise and you're not telling them what their next step is,
Yeah.
how are you expecting to convert them to sales? So an example of that, I know, Mark, we talked about, I just filmed an entire course, a mini course that's only $27.
Yes.
It is called Lasering Fabric. One of the questions that I get asked in DM every day, and I don't have time to answer them because it's not a simple yes or no, is for $27, you guys can learn how to cut fabric, 4 types of fabric with your CO2 laser. No brand, no fluff, no bull. If you want that, you can message me and I'll give you a hidden link to it. I'm going to be presenting it this week. But the message is, for me, I just threw that in there as a subliminal, not so subliminal message of, hey, I want you to buy that course. If you have interest in cutting fabric, I need to tell you what your next step is, right? Because now
Yeah.
you're like, well, I want that course. But if I post about the course and I don't give you a call to action, a CTA, and I tell you what I want your next step to be,
Yep.
you won't take that step. So that's what my courses are about. So, as a close or wrap up, if you want to learn how to cut fabric with a CO2 laser, DM me and I will send you the link for $27. Now, you see what I just did there. First of all,
Love
I
it.
did two
Yes.
things. I'm selling myself because Mark said I could,
Yes.
but I'm also teaching you that's what each post should lead them to. It shouldn't be in your face sales pitchy. It
Yep.
should stop you from scrolling on social media. See, what is she doing with her crazy hair? Liking me and
Yeah.
then clicking on the call to action link that I gave you. And so that's what I hope to bring. Sorry, I
No,
took
it's
the
okay.
reel out, but
That's just
that's
business. It's
what I
good.
hope to teach you all with the platform of Reels and with Canva and ChatGPT.
I'm going to grab a couple last questions here. Beverly asked, should we take our laptop to your class on Canva?
If you guys are coming to any laser conference, I would 100% bring my laptops with me. And
Yep.
yes, I think, Mark, it's going to be set up with just
Yep.
chairs, correct?
There'll be your class will have tables.
Oh, sweet. We need to let people know that. I would
Yeah,
love
I
for
will.
you to bring
Yep.
your laptop and have your phone. We're going to do reels on a phone. So
Yep.
yes, 100%. And I'll probably, and I was telling Mark, if anybody cancels last minute, I have another class I'm just dying to teach, but it will be on something that I'm going to be doing at Lightburn this week. And that would be how I get information to you, how I grow my email list by capturing leads. So I actually use Canva for that. I don't even know why I said that. Forget
That's
that.
great.
But
That's
yes,
okay.
bring your laptops.
Well, and David asked this. He said, how do we attend the course? David, I'm not completely sure which course you're referring to, so let me answer all of them. So if you want to take either one of Hope's classes, these are going to be at the conference in August, at the end of August, and the website's down there scrolling, nextlevellaserevents.com down there. And if you come to the conference, we've got 22 different breakout classes available over the course of 2.5 days. And all of them are being taught 2 or 3 times each, with the goal for you to be able to choose which one you want to go to. You don't have to sign up. You can just go to whichever ones you want. We've got the schedule posted on our website, on Facebook, in the groups. We got a bunch of places. So you can kind of map it out in your head. But in the end, you can just go to whichever ones you want. And then we're also, for everybody that has a ticket, we are recording all of them. So you'll be able to watch them later on. Either if you took Hope's class and you didn't take good enough notes, you'll be able to check that out later. But that's
Nice.
only available for ticket holders. And that will be after the conference is over, of course. But you won't be able to attend all of them. There's more than you can attend, but you're getting all of the videos. So that's going to be a great thing. So if that's what you meant, there's your answer. Also, if you meant for her lasering fabric, just message her, and she
Yeah, and
can
who's watching
let
on
you know.
YouTube, you can go to my webpage, which is hopeyoder.com, and then there's a contact me email if you don't follow me on Facebook,
Yep.
but you can DM me however, or email me through my website, and I'll give you guys that link.
Love it.
Um,
Yep.
yeah,
So
so I'm glad
basically,
to know that they have tables. Perfect.
yes, yes, absolutely. I made sure that any of the classes like yours is going to have the tables in front of them, so they can put their laptop or their whatever they got down. So it's going to be great. HopeYoder.com, let her know. NextLevelLaserEvents.com, let us know. We would love to help you. If you guys are watching this later on demand and we're not live, you can still drop questions in the chat. I'll get notified. If it's something Hope needs to know and she's missed it, I will message her and let you get in
Oh,
touch with her. We'll keep in touch with you because I know some of you guys got things going on during the day, and we love that. So we're here to support you. Hope, thank you for being with us today. It's been awesome.
thank you.
And we could do this for a long time, you and I. It would be a lot of fun. We'll do it again in one way or another. You guys have a great rest of your Tuesday. Check out Hope's website. Join her. She has some Facebook groups. You can see that on her website as well. Join those. Shoot us any questions you have, and we will see you in all the groups. Have a great rest of your Tuesday. Hope, hang around. I'll talk to you for just a second. The rest of you guys,
All right.
we'll see you in the groups. Have a great rest of your Tuesday.
Bye.